Hello and welcome back to JW Talks. We had a little bit of a break in the live streaming service. Before we get into it, we need to figure out why I can hear myself. Cool. We are already starting off with issues. Can you guys hear me? Marmy RH, hello. First time for a live. Hello, Natalie Sanchez. Oh, snap. Hey, how are you? I haven't... Best day ever. Wow, goodness gracious. That is setting a lot of expectations that I guarantee will not be met, but I appreciate that energy. That's what I'm looking for. Can you guys hear me, though? Am I good? Hello, Claudia Floors. Hello. BK Jones says, ha, ha, ha. You must... Either you can't hear me at all, and I look like a fool, or you can hear me. Hello from England, incognito, question mark. Are you incognito? No one really knows. Hello. Everyone can hear me. That's good to know. I don't know why I'm getting like these weird little symbols on my thing, but it's different. Hello, M&K. Hello, Eve. Hello, Raktha. Hello, Jake Garcia. Welcome. Today we have a semblance of a plan. Will that plan actually materialize into this corporeal dimension? Probably not, but it is a starting point. So we are going to talk about talking to elders with my guest today. We're going to talk about what it was like being a Jehovah's Witness during the COVID pandemic, governing body response to those things, how it shaped the religion, all of that good stuff, and then maybe some hot takes, maybe a little bit of fumbling and bumbling by me, probably get some random question of a sexual nature that someone will bring up in chat that will completely derail everything for 10 minutes. You know what the vibe is. Let me get my guest in here before I manage to cancel myself before we even begin, because that wouldn't be super great. First, I got to make myself small, like a turtle. Don't think about it. Hey, Princess. Hello. Hey, Sincere. Hey, me. Hello, Theropod Hunter. Hello. And welcome to my guest. You've seen him in chat, but now he is no longer just in chat. He is on screen. Welcome. I'm Chillin. Would you like to give everyone a brief introduction about how the heck you got here?
I guess Wally just started to take notice and invited me in, so I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the channel. Thanks. I introduced my wife a little while ago, so she's right next to me. She'll be listening to everything, and what conversations we'll be having, making a fool of ourselves.
That's what we do here, baby.
Yeah.
Proudly.
But again, thank you for having me on. I have supporters in the chat that watch your channel a lot. We all of us have been around, with the emotions in our head of, what information can we find that's reliable, and your name always comes up. So we appreciate it.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, sometimes I'm not always 100% reliable, but we do corrections around here, and that's fine. Sometimes a correction is necessary now and then, but it's all good.
Yeah, no, that's always good. We appreciate what you've been doing for the XJW community. You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT.
Definitely not. That is Ray Franz, 100%. But I'll take my bronze medal. I'm just like patting myself on the back, Loki. Oh, goodness gracious. So, just give us a brief history about your time in Watchtower. It doesn't have to be like an hour long, but.
Oh yeah, I hope I don't take up too much time. But so I grew up as going to the meetings. Parents weren't baptized or anything like that. We left the truth or the organization, whatever you.
You said the truth. We're 6 minutes in, and you've completely
reverted. Left the organization, and my parents would always just go out all the time. And finally, I just had a point to tell them when they were going out, like, hey, maybe this day you shouldn't go out. Maybe you should just stay home. And they ended up going out. The couple that they were with, their husband ended up getting murdered. And that's what ultimately converted them into wanting to turn to the organization. Family was encouraging them to go. So taking that route, my father, told me, hey, You're doing basketball, got to put basketball aside. Oh, you want to date, got to put dating aside. Oh, you like rap music, you got to put that aside in order to make efforts to go to Bethel. So that's what my strict childhood was when that trauma event happened to my parents. Ended up getting baptized around 17 or 18. Got engaged, I want to say about 23, 24 maybe,
Okay.
and ended up becoming a ministerial servant. Was a ministerial servant for about 4 to 5 years. And during that time was when my awakening was going on. Um, Noticing all the new light that was going on in the organization just made me just want to start asking questions. The whole we don't know who's going to be resurrected, in the times of Noah's flood and those last days. And I remember asking an elder about that, and he said, "Well, yeah, it's a real loving thing that Jehovah will do." And I literally just thought to myself, "They're going to have to let the disfellowship ones back." I didn't say that to him, but I was like, I don't want to get ahead of the organization because that's what they tell us not to do. But they're going to have to let the disfellowship ones back. And sure enough, the next update was, "Hey, you can invite them and do this and do that." I'm like, I told my wife, I looked at my wife, I'm like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. There's nothing seems right about this. And then I found out about the court case in Norway. I remember listening to what Tony Morris was saying, that they weren't going to make any scriptural changes to disfellowshipping, that we're just not going to do that. and it ended up doing
We're
that.
certainly not gonna do that.
Yeah. And then the beards. I think at that point when we moved into this home and the beards happened, I was like, okay, that's it. Let me see what the apostates are saying. Let,
Mm-hmm.
let me see what this organization is hiding behind the curtains. And sure enough, I came across your video, came across like XJW Panda, and just listening to what you guys had to say, and like, they're right. I'm like, these guys are not apostates. These guys are actually telling the truth. And why is it that we're calling these people liars? They're demonic. They're possessed by Satan, and that's not the right thing to do. And then I just started asking questions to my wife, like, why do you think these things are going on? I don't know. It's the loving thing that Jehovah will do. I'm like, but this audience here is saying that these changes are going to come up again, like with pants. You know what? I don't want to hear anything of that. Don't even talk to me until you get your faith in order. Okay, I won't mention it. Fine. The following week the pants thing came up, and she's like, tell me everything you know.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And then I was like, okay, I have on my YouTube channel, like a year ago, I was posting just conspiracy theories,
Mm-hmm.
and I was real still deep into the truth. I'm like, okay, the conspiracy theories and the truth that somehow mixed together, and then it just didn't. Like it just felt like they were part of the conspiracy theory. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm making videos. I'm gonna buy a camera, buy a laptop, buy a mic, and just start making videos. I don't care how many views I get.
Mhm.
If it gets 100, great. But at least I'm starting. At least I'm
Yeah.
trying just to get the community that I would like to draw attention to, and be like, these guys are not liars. They're not.
Yeah.
They're telling us the facts about this Watchtower organization.
Well, what a journey that must have been, because
Yeah.
I pretty resolutely will put my flag on 2023 as being like the year that really changed Watchtower forever. Between
Oh
the
yeah. For sure.
beards, the pants, the time, and Tony Morris, and then the new light about, hey, boy howdy, it looks like we can actually just not be Jehovah's Witnesses for our entire lives, and then make a last second conversion. I was like, what's the point? So I just wanted to go back to that. Like, what was your like optics like really going on in your mind when they,
With the like,
because for years, right? The whole reason you were so scared to do anything wrong was because boom, Armageddon could come just like that. And then all of a sudden that fear is just gone overnight. What was that like in the organization?
when okay, so I know you talked about like the letter writing in your last video,
Hmm.
and that was like a big thing during COVID was the letter writing, and we had a circuit overseer like come in and say, "Hey, is that what you're referring to? Am I
No, I'm referring to like people being able to become a Jehovah's Witness after they see
okay?"
the Great
So
Tribulation.
yeah, so when that change happened, I remember even just talking to my wife's father, and just asking him like, "What do you think about the last minute repentance?" Well, that's
Hmm.
just Jehovah's love. I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. That just means to say like my next door neighbor, who's Mormon, if he's like, oh, you know what, the Jehovah's Witnesses are right. Let me go ahead and give my faith to the Jehovah's Witness organization. And then it just didn't really click with them. And then speaking with others about it, it just doesn't click. Like
Hmm.
that question about the last minute repentance, it's like, oh well, Jehovah's love. That's it. I'm
But
like,
for
well,
years, we've been saying
well,
it was Jehovah's
well,
love for them to die.
yeah, I'm like, but all of a sudden we just don't know. We had the 100% truth. Remember, this was the truth,
Hmm.
and we said it for decades, and then all of a sudden, well, we just don't know. What do you mean we don't know? We had a firm answer.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any. It just yeah, that part to me just did not make any sense.
Yeah, interesting. Well, maybe we'll circle back to that, but let's get into because I know one of the things that you've done on your channel is record yourself talking with elders and
Mhm.
having conversations with them. So I have had my own personal experience dealing with the goofballs, and I think I have a few interesting things to say about like the methodology and the approach that you can take when talking to elders. I think maybe you have a few interesting things to say, so maybe we can just have a little conversation about that. QC man, thank you for gifting a membership. Thank you for the $2. I appreciate you, QC man. QC man, more like QT man, am I right? That was not my best work, but it was work, and that's what
No,
matters.
we'll run with it. It's
We'll
great.
run with it. Yeah, that's what we'll go with. So what has been your experience in like having conversations with elders, and like what are some of the ways that you have approached that situation?
Just the publications that they have, using their publications against them is probably the best approach to talking to your elders.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you get into like the CSA cases, the Henrietta Trust funds,
Mm-hmm.
the Charles Taze Russell and Thy Kingdom Come book, all that kind of stuff, it will go over the elder's head constantly. But as soon as you're able to use their publications against them, ask them questions like, is the governing body inspired by Jehovah? Well, yeah, of course they are. And then just show them the watchtower. Just show them the watchtower that says that they're not part of they're not inspired by Jehovah. And then the timelines. What actual history says, how long has man been around? They'll like 500,000 years, 750,000 years, but the Jehovah's Witnesses 6,000 years. Well, why? Oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
because the way they interpret the Bible. So when I came up with that approach with just talking with my elders, it was just so mind-boggling to me to see that they couldn't answer any of it. I
Yeah.
I just wanted I'm like, "Well, who's the governing body inspired by?" "Well, they're led by Holy Spirit." That's the same thing. Well, no, it's not. It's not like they're putting a hand on the governing body and telling them to speak, but they're
If I
led by Holy Spirit, and then if they get the motivation to speak, that's being led by Holy Spirit, inspired by Holy Spirit. That's the same thing.
if I
And
punch
it
you
just
in the face and say no, I didn't punch you in the face. My active force did. Okay, like cool.
yes, that's a great illustration. Yeah, it's the best way to put it. And then just getting into the timelines. Like I remember, like when my awakening, someone told me, "Hey, did you ever look into when Matthew was written?" Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, why would I care when Matthew was written? I'm like, the Jehovah's Witnesses say it was in 40 CE. And if you just Google it, it says 80 CE. Have you ever asked them why there's two different things, two different dates? And just asking that question in my video, they just did not want to answer it. I'm like, can
Yeah.
we Google when Matthew was written? Can we just Google it? No. What does it say? What does it say? What do you think it says? Type approach. I'm like, just look it up. It's not going to take you to some apostate website. It's not going to. It's literally an AI generated answer.
Yeah.
What's the problem with that? It won't even take you to any link. If anything, it will take you to a Christian source where it gives you their interpretation, and they'll say it was written in 50 CE. And then getting into the whole interpretation on the virgins, like in Revelation 14, 4,
Oh
where
boy.
it talks about they did not
That's in the
defile
weeds.
themselves with women.
Yeah.
They just kept like going around that. Well,
Mhm.
well, what does it mean? What is a virgin? What?
What are we talking about? Like,
Are you asking me what is a virgin, brother? Do you have kids?
you apparently.
So it was just so mind-boggling to actually see firsthand that the elders couldn't really even answer my questions. They just chose to walk away, and that
Yeah.
reminded me so much of the convention video, because I watched that convention video, and I'm
Mhm.
like, well, let me make this video and just give firsthand testimony. I'm like, yeah, it's really like that. They won't tell you what link they received.
Mhm.
It could be just a simple timeline on history that can make you change your whole perspective.
Why are you
But
sending me this crap?
exactly, they won't say that.
Yeah.
So they rather just say, well, the only truth is, Jehovah, and just walk away. And firsthand, when I did that video, even doing follow-ups just with
Mhm.
certain other, I did like another video, and I did a follow-up with the elder that came, asked him, hey, just out of curiosity, did you ever look up when Matthew was written? Nothing. And then there was another brother that said that he would actually get back to me and say, I'll have some of your questions answered. And then I messaged him, hey, any luck? Any luck on nothing? Nothing.
Radio silence.
It's okay. It's like, oh, okay, so the message has gone out. Yeah. Oh, you think I'm antagonizing you? You think I have a haughty spirit? No. I am wanting to get the actual truth out of you guys, and you guys do not want to say anything. It's always, well, here's what I believe. Here's what I believe. I don't care about what you believe. I just want to
Mhm.
know why this material says it.
Yeah. So I think this actually represents some type of shift in how elders are handling situations because well, first off, let me just jump back to what you said initially. I wholeheartedly agree that going into scandal accomplishes next to nothing. Anytime I've ever talked to a Jehovah's Witness and asked them about a particular, the Australian Royal Commission, CSA, whatever the case is, it just goes nowhere. Just completely bounces off. They are made of Teflon when it comes to scandal. And I think that's because they are trained and prepared to just hear those as the words of apostates. And the more interesting approach that I have found, at least for me, was, like you said, well, what does your own literature say? Can you ensnare them with their own literature to get to the point where they're basically like, yeah, we don't really worry about what our own literature says anymore. Because that's just like, well, what's the point of being a witness?
Yeah.
But, oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, even in the video, and you even mentioned it to me, like when they just said, well, don't read our publications. What?
Mm-hmm.
What did you just say to me? Don't read your publications that are supposedly inspired by Holy Spirit or led by Holy Spirit, however you want to word it. You're telling me not to read that? Well, the Watchtower says it's a Bible aid. Right. So you guys can interpret things.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, the whole doctrine is predicated on these old publications, and now we're just magically not supposed to read them.
And when talking with them at the end of the conversation, I was waiting for them to say like, hey, what you're asking is like grounds for disfellowshipping,
Mm-hmm.
or for removal from the congregation. and I had everything right here. Like it wasn't like it's not like I wasn't hiding that I was recording them. You know,
Hmm.
in a way, it just looked like I just had a bunch of junk, right here. But I was waiting for them to say, "Yeah, this is grounds for disfellowshipping," but it was just so weird that they just walked away by the end of it. How's the wife doing? And no mention of it. What is your hot take on like why some of these new ones are not getting disfellowship for making videos about the organization?
I think that elders are they're not trying to tackle doctrinal issues anymore. They're not trained to. I think their elders are trying to pull away from actually shepherding the flock. If you want my hottest of hot takes, I think
Mhm.
elders, instead of being the pseudo police force, this task force that's used by the organization to monitor and control people, I think they're just going to be more like publicists that sit there and be little cheerleaders for the organization. But it's so great, it's so wonderful. But they're not really going to be there to enforce rules, enforce certain things. That's just where I see the direction going, because I think the legal problems that they'll face with having specific directions for elders on how to deal with people that are asking questions or that do something wrong, I think it's going to cause more problems than it's actually going to help people stay Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, how often is someone has questions about apostasy and they go and talk to the elders and the elders help them and turn their minds around and they spiritually help them and then everyone's okay? It
Yeah.
never happens. So why would the organization want them to continue to do the thing and put themselves in a legal situation where they're actually yielding no results? I don't
Yeah.
think that they'll do that. So if you want my hot take when it comes to that, I think the organization is basically training them to be the PR guys. They're just
And do
there
you
to be
think that's
like,
like new? Do you think that's like something they're talking about behind the scenes? Like, hey,
yes.
if they're asking questions, like we can't really do anything about it.
I would bet you a significant amount of money that when the next Elder book comes out, it's going to be like half the size.
Mm. You think they'll do like a part two to that whole apostate video?
Yeah, maybe, where they're like show what the elders do and they're basically just like, well, if that's how you feel, we'll respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Okay.
see that happening.
Whereas if you go back 20, 30 years, even 10 years, like when I was leaving, there were a few elders that did want to sit down and actually talk about stuff. I hadn't even brought it up because it just never was on my radar. But the whole 607 thing never even hit my radar when I was first leaving. And I had an
Mhm.
elder try and come up and convince me why 607 was the correct date for the fall of Babylon, and I was like, or Jerusalem, and I was like, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. And he's like, huh? Well, that's what apostates say. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. And then he was the one that caused me to actually look into it. I hadn't, thought about that before. So he was the one that got me turned on to why that was a fake date.
Was he
Um,
an older brother?
yeah, he was an older brother.
Okay, so in my experience with this last hall that I was at, there was a brother that I at least went out in service about 3 or 4 times, and he was just consistent with his presentation about 607.
Hmm.
And it would have like the whole conversation would have nothing to do. They could be talking about, you know, a, a dog got ran over by a car in the news, and they're like, "Well, let me tell you about 607." And I'm
Okay,
like,
I've never heard that before. That's weird.
But that's what he stuck with. And then when they weren't interested, or when the whole presentation was over, we would walk away, and he would say, "Yeah, they're not hooked on 1914 yet, but we'll come back." Like they didn't even say we can come back. You're wanting to start like an argument over this date for nothing.
Huh? What a strange little man.
Yeah.
I've
And
never
he
heard of
was
anything
he
like
was
that.
a real zealous brother, always out in the ministry, but he was real adamant about this 607 thing. I remember he even just came into like a midweek meeting, had this whole presentation written out about 607 and 1914. I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. And the whole time that I was there, at least the I don't know, 4 to 6 months that I was at that hall,
Hmm.
That was his whole main presentation, was the 607 BC.
That's wacky. I mean, that's like just knocking on someone's door like with a cloak on, like, "Can I have a witch's brew for you?" and like stirring a cauldron. It's so nonsensical. You look insane. Like, is this a prank? Is Ashton Kutcher about to come out from around the bushes? What is happening right now? If someone were to open with 607, I would really need to get their mental examined.
Yeah, no, I would want you to do the exam and just to figure out what you could read.
Holy, maybe. So, what was like the overarching like goal when you were talking with the elders? Because a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, don't talk to them. You know, you don't owe them nothing. You don't have to, submit to their rules or anything."
But you said, what was my overall goal?
Yeah. So,
Huh?
for instance, like, "Oh, thanks, Piccolo. Welcome to Wally World. Hey, just got here. What did you miss? We're just kind of getting cooking. We're talking about elder stuff at the moment. So you came just at the right time."
Um,
No, I was just saying, like, when some people will say, "Don't talk to the elders, just leave quietly. There's nothing to gain from the conversation with them." And I respect that opinion if that's how people want to feel. I, on the other hand, I'm like, if elders want to talk to me, I'm there. I'm here for it. Yep, bring it
yeah.
on. Because I think it's
So
interesting.
I have that energy now.
Okay.
Before I didn't want to talk. My approach to the elders in the beginning was, my wife, off and on, she has certain health conditions. So that was basically my approach, is telling the elders I need to step down as a servant. Wife has a lot of health issues that are coming up, and taking us away from going to the meeting. And then when we just the memorial, like, even for my wife, it was weird for her to go. She's like, this. Why are we saying hi to the disfellowship ones? Why is nobody wearing a tie? Why does everybody have beards? Why is this weird brother making compliments to me on my skirt? It was just everything was just settling in for her, and she's like, okay, I'm done after this. So when
Yeah.
talking to the elders, letting them know, like, hey, we won't, after this memorial, kind of want to step down as a servant. Wife's health is kicking in, and we just didn't go to meetings. We ignored them all the way up until then. And during that time of me ignoring them, I just every day just did research and did
Hmm.
research. So my ultimate goal now, when talking to the elders, was just to show the community, I'm like, they won't answer just simple questions, and it really affects people who are just behind closed doors trying to figure out what to do with their lives. Some are hitting 30, some are hitting 40.
Hmm.
I think I just seen Stop the Shunning just do a interview with someone who's like in their 60s, and they just left
Hmm.
the organization. So it's like, well, why does it have to take that long to just present the information that we're trying to figure out, and then we just throw all of it away just to say, rely on Jehovah. He'll take care of it. And then here we are, just in a chair, highlighting our watchtower, raising our hands for the next 30 years, and just wasting our lives away. And I even told my wife, I go, the for the next 10 years, I don't want to be going on stage and saying, yeah, guys, resurrection in paradise, hang in there. And then the next talk, hey, paradise, the resurrection, hang in there. And then it becomes repetitive. And then I'm like, I'm done with that. I'm not a robot.
Hmm.
I'm not. I have a life that I want to go enjoy. I want to go get tattoos. I want to have
Hmm.
I want to listen to rap music. I want to say cuss words like fucking bitch. Do all
Yeah.
that and be myself. And
Hmm.
it was like, no, you gotta just rely on no, I'm done. That answer probably worked for the older generation, but it's not working for the day of information, the generation that has all this information in front of them. You guys are done. And that's what I think this organization is headed to, a whole rebranding, because they're not this, to your point, the service isn't working anymore. The only
Yeah.
ones that are really coming in are just ones that are just really lost and filled with trauma, and they're surrounded by family that just has other Jehovah's Witnesses in their family, like, oh, just come here and things will be better.
Yeah,
That's really all they're bringing in. It's no one new.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I think it's valuable for people to see just how powerless the elders are to answer basic questions about their own doctrine and about the Bible itself. And I think it's when people can see that, and that's why anyone that's like, oh, should I record them? So, I mean, as long as it's legal, I ain't going to tell you to do anything illegal, but as long as it's legal, I say do it. Because once people can see that there is nothing, like these are just some dudes that are standing in line at Costco because toilet paper's on sale, just like you and me. They are not special. They have no divine help. God's not going to infuse them with words of wisdom at the right time. They're just some guys. And when you can just see that, I think it really helps alleviate a lot of the stress people are feeling when they're about to make that exit. Because I think it's a very hard thing to do for people, right? Oh, man, I'm leaving the organization. Oh, it's very stressful. What am I going to do? Am I going to disassociate? Who am I going to tell? Do I have to tell the elders? Do I have to talk to them? And when you know that even if you talk to them, if you want to talk to them, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. They're not like these spiritual powerhouses that are going to overwhelm you with questions and stumble you. You're not going to be like, oh, I don't know how to answer that question. That will never happen. If you are leaving the organization, you have done the research, you are going to trip them up immediately.
Exactly. You couldn't have said it any better. As long as you continue just to even just listening to your channel and you point out what the publications say. So if you just use those talking points, they'll be like, just rely on Jehovah. I'm like,
exactly.
See? Got him.
And at a certain point, you're like, are you Tickle Me Elmo? Like, I just hit you, and then all of a sudden you're just like, rely on Jehovah. Like, shut up.
Yeah. That talking, even just my latest video or not the latest video, but the follow-up video I did with the witnesses was sending them text messages. I did a conversation with an anointed one. He would always partake during the memorials, and then just asking him questions, and he didn't even want to answer them. I'm like, this guy is claiming he's anointed. He claimed during the conversation, well, I've read the Bible. I've read it. I'm like, okay, well, tell me what Matthew 17:21 says. It doesn't say anything. Okay, why? Because we took it out. Okay, well, why did you take it out? Because you interpret things. You interpret what the Bible says. You interpret who wrote things. You interpret timelines. You interpret history. I even asked them, do you guys have the truth, or do you have interpretation of the truth?
Yeah.
Oh, we have the truth. How? When you're interpreting all these other things.
Interpreting is a fire word.
Yeah.
Just add a few syllables in there. Interpretating.
Interpretating. They're interpretating a lot of things.
Why not? Yeah. I think one of the, if you are going to talk to elders, I think one of the most effective ways at like breaking the barrier of any Jehovah's Witness mind, and this is just a Wally thing that I've come up with, so take that for whatever it's worth to you. But there's something special that happens as someone gets close to their cognitive dissonance, but it doesn't quite kick in yet. And what I mean by that is, like, you bring up a point like with 144,000 or something like that, and then you're talking, okay, how do you guys come up with that? Revelation 7, these are all the qualifications for being there, and you're like, okay. And you just like get a highlighter. And I remember when I was studying with witnesses, actually like getting a highlighter. I was like, so let me just get this straight, and doing it in front of them, highlighting everything that they think is literal, just the number, and then taking a different color highlighter and everything that they say that's figurative. And then just asking them, like, how do you pick the one thing and say that is something that should be literal? And that's when their brain is going to like do the roulette wheel of like, okay, and that's like, you get them very close to cognitive dissonance, and then just give them a way out. Make a joke, say something funny, You know, just get up and just give them a way out, so that way they don't ever have to like hit the cognitive dissonance head on, because then you're just in a car crash, and I don't think you're going to ever get through to a witness like that. But if they get close to it, that little nugget is something that will stick with them. And so all of my conversations that I've ever had with witnesses has always been this ebb and flow of like, how can I get you really close and then slowly back away? It's kind of sensual if I think about it. And I think for me, that is the most effective way of breaking that barrier, because maybe it just like chinks at it a little bits at a time. Anyway, any thoughts on that, or any
No, yeah,
experience
you're
with
right.
that?
Because when I went over the 144,000, I go, okay, who wants to read the next verse? And then the brother goes, they are virgins. I go, no, 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 no. It says they did not defile themselves with women, for in fact they are virgins. Let's read
Mm-hmm.
it in its full context, because that's what the whole argument is about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start with verse 1 and work our way down to verse 22 so we could understand the full context.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, these are two verses right next to each other, and you just misquoted it purposely for some odd reason. I don't know why, but read it in its entire context and let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point on it. Just read it. If we have the information there, we want to understand the literal and symbolic things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take it for the actual context. Let's not just
Yeah.
be around the bush and just give these men, this governing body, power. That's
Yeah.
that's literally why they interpret it that way, to give the governing body power.
So you go all in and we'll make the point. So that's where I always kind of stop. I'm like, I don't ever want to go and make the point and like draw the conclusion. Like I'll do the whole thing and I'll leave it right there. I'll just leave them hanging, because I feel like if you're like, so therefore the governing body, you're making it up and this is a whole thing. I think people come off as like the loony bin apostate, or at least that's what Jehovah's Witnesses are going to hear.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I don't know the answer. I don't think there is an answer, and it's probably dependent on the person. But I feel like if someone can draw, because like when they're hearing all of that, they're going to make the conclusion in their mind. They don't need me to say that to them. And so trying to find a way to back out of it, I feel like lets them, or gives them the time and space and comfort when they're not like their blood's boiling and they're on high alert. But maybe later on at home when they're just like, so does that mean that this whole 144,000 thing is just kind of made up? I don't know. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, I even told them at the end, I'm like, there's going to come a point in time where you guys are going to have to meditate on what I'm talking about and realize there could be a small chance that I'm right. And if I am, I hope you guys tell yourself, you know what? I respect that he stood up for the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys come back and we have a conversation about it. And if I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, I'm saying it, humbly, but at the same time, there's nothing pointing at that I'm wrong. You haven't even told me anything, read me a scripture, given me any publications. You guys backed yourself in a corner and say that I didn't have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do I not have an open mind when I'm taking all the facts into consideration?
I really get very close to crashing out when a Jehovah's Witness tells me to have an open mind. That is one of those that I'm just like, oh, it really bothers me. It's like, no, you're telling me to delude myself. That's not an open mind. That's just accepting without evidence. You can't just make stuff up and say, well, you have to have an open mind. No, I don't. Not if you're trying to fill it with shit. Then my mind is very closed.
Yeah, no, that's really all the material is. It's just shit that they come up with, and they don't want you to question anything else.
Yeah.
But why? Why don't you want us to question anything else? Because we want control. We want power. We want your donations. We want to have the fear built into you if we're going to remove you from the congregation or not. That's all it is.
Yeah, which I think will be interesting as the time goes and there's less of that fear, because people already are like, okay, well, if I'm disfellowshipped, I can still come back after, all
The last
there's a
minute
one world
decision.
government. As soon as there's a one world government, I can rejoin the religion. Okay, I guess I'll just sit around and wait for that to happen, and I'll enjoy some sinning. So,
Yeah.
yeehaw.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they're going to navigate that, because I think their first like little micro test, and look at me. Now that was a transition for you. Their first little micro test was the pandemic.
Hmm.
When people unplugged, when they stepped off of the treadmill for the first time and said, huh, what do I think about my life as a Jehovah's Witness? I think that, I mean, I didn't experience it, so I guess I should ask you, what was that like as a believing Jehovah's Witness, as a ministerial servant, as someone that was, seen as an example in the congregation? Gargo Drano. What was that
Yeah,
like?
looking back at it now, being a servant and giving all those talks, man, it's cringeworthy. But during that COVID, era, so to say, I I remember it being the CO visit that during that time, and everybody was all looking forward to, like, look at what the July Watchtower says about the pandemic and things like that. And he read off Matthew 24:14, because everyone was going to be writing letters. Everyone was going to be at their homes sending thousands of letters, day by day. And then he goes, "This scripture here has basically been fulfilled."
So
And
this
I,
is
and I,
this is a
Mhm.
circuit overseer?
Yeah, yeah, I can give his
Okay.
name. You want me to say his name?
No, 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 that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, okay. He said that this scripture here has been fulfilled. And I just thought to myself, and even like thought, just conversating with my wife, I'm like, we're right there. We're right around the corner. He says that we're gonna hit every territory by doing letter writing. Like, just think about that. We're gonna touch uncharted territory. And
This
I go,
is
even if it takes 2 years, we can do it like that. I remember even asking ChatGPT during COVID. I'm like, okay, so if the Jehovah's Witnesses, there's 8 million of us, and if we send out letters every day, how long would it take for the preaching work to be done?
you
And it said,
were
like, yeah, you can
mathing.
get and it said, like, you can get it done within like 2 years, max 5 if something happens, but you guys can get it done in 2 years. I'm like, yeah, see, babe, look, 2 years, and right, this brother CEO knows what he's talking about. And here we are, like 5 years later, and
I
nothing.
just gotta say, that is so adorable that was going through your mind, like, yippee, the preaching work's gonna be done because of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
in my conspiratorial head. That's what was going on,
that is
even
really funny.
as a brother, as a servant, I'm like, man, these brothers and sisters who are questioning things, they have no idea how close we are. And then
Hmm.
little things just started to happen. Oh, you gotta the governing body just came out with a new update, and they said you need to take the vaccine. I'm like, well, they didn't say that. They just said it's a choice. That's really all they said. But every brother and sister interpreted that in a whole different way.
Yeah, that yeah, that's a rabbit hole. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll take a hard left there.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna sit back and just see what happens. And nothing happened. Nothing.
Yeah,
We we
absolutely
were
nothing.
we were eventually able to go back into the Kingdom Hall, and the hugs, the hugs.
Give me the hug. So was that? I imagine, like, when I close my eyes and I think about it, I think that the initial response to everything being shut down would have been this overwhelming excitement that something really big was about to happen. Like, finally Bible prophecy was about to kick into high gear, and it's like, yeah, we were right all along. Was that part of your mindset at that time?
Yes, yes. Like, oh, it's the we're gonna see Jesus coming out of the heavens, and well, everyone's getting their 6 feet apart and all that. No, none of that. Yeah, my whole world just crumbled down to what I was feeding myself, feeding what the organization was telling me on, what direction to take, not to be ahead of the organization. And when nothing happened, when everything just felt like it was back to normal, they just started looking into more things. What is this new light? I remember
Mm-hmm.
my dad saying, "Oh, new light comes out every October." I'm like, "That's what they do? That's what this whole annual meeting is for?" Okay, let's look at the history of this whole new light. Wow, they really got nothing right. Not the beards, not the disfellowshipping, not the nothing, the king of the north, nothing. All that is just interpretation.
And they just change it whenever the sillier it looks. They're like, yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and change that. What was your thoughts on how the governing body decided to put themselves front and center? Because I thought, just from an outsider perspective, when they started, because the pandemic was when they started doing the governing body updates. And I felt like that was, because you already had the broadcast. Sometimes it was
Mhm.
hosted by a governing body member, but not always. I feel like with those updates specifically, there was something about that felt, again, from an outsider's perspective, that this was the end goal, where they really just wanted to put themselves like front and center. We are Jesus Christ himself. Was there any like, this is weird feeling how every month or every other month you were looking forward to the next governing body update? It wasn't the organization update. It wasn't new light. It was, here's Kenneth Cook with his sour cream face
Well, I
telling
would
me
say the
about.
one that did it for me, and he just had like a real cocky approach. I'll name two: Stephen Lett and Tony Morris.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime they got onto the camera, I'm like, why? If any brother were to give a talk like Stephen Lett on stage, they'd be like, "Hey, that's overdoing it. That's a little too much." They would get that feedback. So
Yeah,
why is it okay for him to act like an idiot and not me?
I
Why are
I
you giving
had
all this glory to?
so I low key, before I left, I wanted to do that. I didn't end up doing it. My wife talked me out or off of the edge of the cliff, but I wanted my last talk, because the last meeting I ever went to, I gave the last part and gave some troll prayer at the end, because it was a midweek meeting, and I wanted to like give the whole thing in like a Stephen Lett impersonation, and just like watch everyone lose their mind, and then think about, wait, this is how the governing body talks. Like, you can't say anything to me. This is your leaders. This is what they do. You have to accept this absolute nonsense.
And then just hearing Tony Moore, now, brothers, the tight pants that we're wearing, it's inappropriate. We gotta stop. You got. I'm like, why is this guy talking like he just owns the place? He is a nobody, and we're saying what he's saying is being directed by Holy Spirit. Now, brothers, we're not gonna change our scriptural grounds on this fellowship, and we're just not. And I'm like, who is he drunk? Has he been drinking? He's drinking. And so just hearing
Oh,
those two guys, I'm just it just makes no sense how they could act like idiots and just say whatever they want off the top of their head and make comments like that and get away with it. But if I were to do it, no, 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 no. That's not directed by Holy Spirit. I'm like, the hell it is.
for goodness gracious. Piccola, thank you so much for the $20. You know what? Thank you for being you. Don't thank me. I'm just up here being a little goober. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
I
and
like the comment that says he was
thank you.
drunk allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever told this, but I'm pretty sure I have. At our assembly hall, they had like special offices set up for guest speakers or the circuit overseer back in the day, the district overseer.
Hmm.
And when Tony Morris was giving his famous, I think this was what, 20, I
The
can't
tight
remember that.
pants talk.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was it 2012? I want to say it was like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, I was
Because
still in high school when they gave that talk. Yeah.
you heard it. Did he like come around to your circuit or something, or when did he
No,
give
no,
that?
no. My dad had relations with people in Bethel who would
Okay.
always give him like an MP3 of the talk.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so he would always make us during family worship, like, "Hey, listen to what Tony says about tight pants, you and your skinny
Interesting.
jeans,
Okay.
you guys over there like doing the jerk and all that. And you got you're dumb because Tony Moore said you're dumb. I'm like,
Okay. Old man yelling at the clouds. Cool.
I appreciate it, Dad. Thanks.
Yeah. So I heard that talk live and in person, but anywho,
Nice.
this is neither here nor there as far as the story goes. So they have these special offices set up, and so I was in charge of doing some cleaning check thing. And I don't know why I got it in my head that I would just go into, because he was giving a talk, or he wasn't in the little office at the time. And I just was like in there, like went to his office, and, you know, he had like his little briefcase sitting out. He had all of his papers, everything. And, you know, I won't say anything more about that aspect of it, but they had a little mini fridge. I'm a bit of a snooper. They had a mini fridge. And I opened up the mini fridge, and I thought it was very strange because there was a half-drinking bottle of vodka in the little mini fridge that was at the little special office thing. And I was like, maybe someone gave it to him? Why is it open? Were they celebrating? It was just very odd. I couldn't, like,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you any more beyond that, but I thought, this is very strange. And so after that, I get very distracted quite easily, so I would always sit very close to the front. And I remember sitting there, and holy moly, he went on this tirade about tight pants. And I'm sitting there right in front, you know, right in the front of the audience, and I know that I'm going to go and have dinner with him after he's done giving the talk, because that's just, you know, when you're one of those families where you always have to hang out with the guest speakers from Bethel because you're cool. Anyway, so then I'm like sitting there listening to this goofball talk about tight pants. And my response to this, anytime an elder had brought this up to me, had always been the same. Like, if it's a ratio of how close my skin is to the fabric that I'm wearing, this has to be applicable across the board. So Tony Morris, by his own definition, is going to be wearing tight pants because his legs are massive. Like, at what point, like, are you just, I want to see him wear, like, a zoot suit parachute around him. Like, I'm wearing something that fits my body. I just eat cans of tuna and avocados, and I work out 7 days a week, brother. Like, I have 8% body fat. What do you want me to do about it?
I read the Bible and I drink.
Yeah, but I just remember, like, that series of events and all of it clicking only after I had left the organization. Like, yeah, he must have been drinking on the job a little bit. Like, it just makes too much sense that he would get himself completely toasted and then get up and go on his little rants about tight pants. Anyway, that was a weird little. Go ahead.
Did you have like elders that you can tell they were drinking before they given their part on stage?
I was never intimately like aware of any that we had in like our hall. Yeah, that was the only time I'd ever really even thought about it, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, even like thinking back on it, I don't remember any that stood out.
Yeah, there was about 2 or 3 occasions where a few brothers would come up to me, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "God dang, what you been drinking? You didn't tell nobody?" And then next thing you know, they're on stage giving a part. I'm like, that's why you smell like that.
Forgot their Listerine strips.
Yeah, no, it's Listerine mixed with alcohol. That's what most of them smell like. And there was about 2 or 3 that I could remember that would just come fully in. You can smell the alcohol, you know, coming from their body, not even their breath, and just giving a talk.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, that's not something I can ever really recall. Like, I remember some people would like turn up to a meeting and I'd be like, "You look a little red in the face there, bucko," but they'd just be like chilling in a corner. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's a tough place to be. I got you.
Yeah.
But, anyway, we lost the plot there for a minute. Okay, let's see. What is our time? We are 1 hour in. Can you hold things down, chat? Yeah? If you have any questions for Mr. Chilling himself, here's a great time, because as everyone knows, I have to pee. Because that's what happens after I've been streaming for around an hour. Usually 45 minutes, but I actually went before we left. So if you have any questions, Alpha, I saw your messages. Thank you, thank you. Also, hello. I hope you're doing well. It's tough out there. Hang in there. Life gets better. We figure things out. Progress over perfection. Anyway, ask any questions that you have for him. I will be right back in approximately 2 minutes.
I'm counting.
Or you, oh yeah, you can bring your wife in. That's fine too.
Let me have my wife on just to say hi. Let me bring her on just to say hi. Come here. She's been right here next to me listening. She's my number one supporter. I appreciate everything you've been doing. Any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. Everyone's saying hi and hello. What's been on everyone's minds lately in regards to the Jehovah's Witness organization? Have you ever had any encounters with autism and JWs? No, not that I can remember, other than just helping them to their section to where they need to have a seat. My wife has always been with me throughout this journey, so she's never nothing new, nothing new. I'm from Arizona, so to Russell's Watchtower. I'm from Arizona. Is it really that windy outside? It's like super windy if anyone's here in Arizona. Maybe do you is may maybe you answer this, but do you get extra grief about your tattoos? No, I actually when I got my tattoos, I purposely did it just to kind of rub it in their face. Just because if they want to talk to me, you're gonna have to talk to me as who I am. And I don't really care if they give me grief or not. I just did it for me. How did
I'm
you wake up? It was the new light every time. Ever since my dad told me, "Oh yeah, every October they come out with new light." I'm like, well, "What? What? They come out with new light? Let me go ahead and circle back and look at all this new light that's been changing throughout our organization."
maybe I should do like a 50,000 subscriber tattoo.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
do it, man. Do
That'd be
it.
kind of funny.
Yeah, do it. That would be pretty
People can
dope.
vote on the tattoo I get if we hit 50,000 subscribers. Man, that would be kind of. I don't know if I want to do that for something permanent though. That'd have to be like 144,000. At 144,000 subscribers, you guys can pick my tattoo.
Oh wow, have
God,
them pick it. Dang.
no,
Dang,
because
I'll throw out some
it'll
ideas.
just be something phallic. I know you, chat. I know you guys. Know you too well. It'd be something trolls.
My parents or JWs, I've always felt like a burden. Them it seemed was unworthy. Oh, don't ever feel that you're unworthy. Your emotions, your personality, all that speaks for itself. So always place your emotions, above everything. What you feel, put that above everything. If you feel like your parents are being, I felt like my parents were, I was being a burden to them, living right next door to them at the time. So when I made the decision to actually think for myself, that opened up a lot of doors for me, and it opened up a door and an opportunity for me to be on here. And thank you, Wally. I appreciate it again, man. I can't thank you enough for you having me on here. So thanks again.
Well, Can we just talk about that for a second now that someone's brought it up? Because this is
Yeah.
something that I often think about as like a holdover from being a witness is
Mhm.
people always feel like they're not enough. Like Watchtower, and unless you've lived the life, you never can quite understand just how crushing it is to have your childhood, your dreams, your aspirations, even your talents
Mhm.
to be squashed and marginalized. And it's like, well, why would you want to have a talent unless you can use that for Watchtower? Oh, you like playing music? Well, are you going to go to Bethel with that? Like everything is funneled down to like this tiny little box, and it's really crushing.
Yeah, it is.
And I think with that mentality of always feeling like your only value comes from what you can do for this giant corporation that's just often never ever land. I think it makes you think that your natural self is just a burden to people. Like everything that you think, any problem that you have. Oh, you have a problem? Nah, we don't really talk about problems here. We like you can't bring a problem to the organization. That's not going to help anyone. And they never really take that seriously. So anyway, what are your thoughts on like how people can grow, or how have you been working on growing out of that mindset?
Well, I always bring it up in some of my episodes when I do talk about the Jehovah's Witnesses. Just make a video. Uh, Make a video how you feel and what's going on through your journey of trying to wake up, because you never know that you're going to come across somebody that's going through your situation, and you can help them relate. You could help relate those same questions. And I'm seeing it. And I think you even brought up a couple that I even commented on, like Austin or Dakota and Austin. I think that's their name. Their
Mm-hmm.
first video about waking up. I'm all for that. Keep doing that. If you find the courage to want to come out and just start asking questions and go against the grain, do it. You have no idea how many doors could open up for you. And I get it can be hard. Yeah, I can't do that because I'm still living with mom and dad, and it's not like I can just pull out my camera and just start going against the organization and put my face out there. I get that, but if you're wanting to make the progress to make changes, go ahead, make videos. Make a thread on the XJW community. Build some type of following that you could find encouragement through. When I faded, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop talking to everybody. I'm gonna do my own journey. I'm gonna see if I can build anybody that would just listen, build a community of anybody that would just listen to me. And that's all the courage it took for me. Yeah, it's hard. Trust me, it is hard. The emotions of, I want to say, the first 2 weeks of me leaving the organization it felt like my heart was headed towards my asshole and like I was doing everything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And after I got out of that mindset and had the mindset of being able to have control over my own freedom, I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm making videos. I'm gonna make videos on the elders. I'm gonna make videos on how I left and do all of that. So that would be my take on, just to, if you need the encouragement, take that approach. Find a community and build off of that.
Yeah, I think even if it doesn't or isn't making a video, I think finding that community is a way to find your voice. Because like right, that like being a little drone for Watchtower is all about not having a voice. They don't
Mm,
care what you have to say. You can't make any decisions. They make decisions for you. And being able to just talk about your lived experience in that cult and being able to have and find your own voice and say what you mean what you say and to be heard by people is very powerful. And I think whether some people can't always do that, like with their friends that, maybe it's not like friends in real life that they're going to a hockey game with or whatever. But even if it is online, I think it is important for people to like find their voice and just talk about it
yeah.
with some feedback because
And
that
I'm working on it.
yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, you're pretty fresh out. Like you're
Yeah.
well, I won't say that, but you're like a newborn baby out here in the new
Yeah.
world.
No, you can put it that way. That's fine. But it's nice. It's nice just to be able to just relate to people. Like, yeah, it was a burden, but the encouragement that I was able to build was just putting out videos, listening to people's comments, looking to other people's channels, like your channel, and building up the courage to just come out with my own information.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just taking that level of control or that level of power is very important, because then you'll quickly realize that your existence isn't a burden on other people's lives. You are not this anchor for people. Like,
Hmm.
you have something of value to add. And when you've been told your entire life that you're never have any value, like breaking that barrier, and once you understand that, you're like, oh, okay. I can add something to other people's lives. I'm not just this anchor for them. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a complicated thing, and it takes time, and you should never like hold yourself to like a schedule and say, well, I need to heal by July 14th. And it's like, well, you know, I like the energy, but
Yeah.
maybe we gotta take it slow. Um okay, we've been going for an hour now.
Hmm.
So we did elders. We talked a little bit about the COVID stuff. What was our last thing that we
I,
wanted?
I don't
Oh,
know.
hot takes.
Yeah. New World Order that was one? Is the
You let's
Jehovah's
let's
Witnesses
let's
part
hear.
of the
You
New
are
World
the
Order?
conspiracy man. You like to infuse yourself with some rye whiskey and go down the rabbit holes on Reddit.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
yeah. Oh,
let's
even YouTube's the worst. But my hot take on the Jehovah's Witnesses, they're
Mhm.
preaching the New World Order. It was Jeffrey Jackson, right, that gave the
Yeah.
talk about the numbers will go up and up and up and then down, down, down. But he said something where he says, but the one thought was that these political leaders will go against religion,
Mhm.
and that's no longer the one thought. The one thought is that these political leaders will hand over political power to the United Nations, and religion would just dismantle itself. Well, if religion is going to dismantle itself and these political leaders hand over power to the United Nations, that's a new world order. And
Mhm.
that's conspiracy theory. So if you're telling us to stay away from conspiracy theories, why are you preaching it?
So I'm unfamiliar with the conspiracy behind the New World Order. So like, what is the nuts and
just a,
bolts, the foundation of that?
just a one world government. Have all these political leaders form a one world government, new religion, new everything, and you can kind of see the with the changes that the organization is doing, even just behind the scenes, even with uh, head the headquarters that they have in Italy isn't called Watchtower. It's called Christian Headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, that sounds like you're pushing to rebrand to become part of just the Christian, the Christian religion in case things do decide to take a turn for the worse.
Hmm. So do you think that the governing body then, because in order for this to be a hot take, we gotta spice it up. Do you think that they are like aware of the conspiratorial nature of this, or do you think
Yes.
that there is just a random coincidental intersection?
No, because they come out and say it. We're not inspired. We don't need to apologize if we get things wrong. It's like you guys are purposely putting it in front of us, thinking no one's going to pay attention. So I mean, they have to be a part of it if they're preaching it and they know what they're saying. It can't be like, oh, this is just coincidence. And even just throwing stuff like with their new dramas, like with the United Nations being like their logo being on the back. I'm like, well, now you're going and seeking help from the United Nations.
Oh wait, I missed that.
Yeah, remember the drama that they had about like in Africa with all this political
Oh yeah, yeah,
violence?
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. I thought the
And then you could see
newest
this like
one. Sorry.
little boy run across and he had the vest with the United Nations. I'm like, what are we now we're going to them for help? What happened to the watchtower will provide? Just like they
Hmm.
did for COVID and the whole little box situation, handing out food.
Yeah,
Now we're
that was
going to the United
interesting.
Nations?
The old COVID food boxes. What a situation that was.
Yeah,
Wait,
so
did you
that's
guys have the food boxes as well? Sorry, not to go on a.
so I've seen a lot of posts where they got like the letter thing, but I
Hmm.
was telling my wife, I go, I don't remember that. I don't remember ever getting a letter or ever hearing things that were from Trump. The last thing I remember hearing that where this food was coming from was a brother that worked at like some type of food bank, and
Hmm.
he got boxes together from that food bank and gave it to us. I'm
Okay.
like, great. And then, and if anybody had extra stuff from them going to the grocery store, they would include it in those boxes. But the only thing was you had to be a ministerial servant or an elder to donate that food. You couldn't be like a regular publisher. I don't know. It was
Can't
something
be
weird about
trusted.
that.
Those
Yeah,
hooligans.
infested food being handed out to the brothers and sisters. But I don't remember there being like a letter and then them
Hmm.
saying, "Hey, if you find this letter, take it out." I almost kind of have the theory that that stuff was pulled before we even got our hands on it.
Yeah, I think that there probably was a letter, and some of the boxes, like why some people would get them and some wouldn't. I think it's just human error. They tried to pull all of them, and a few just slipped by. It's probably as simple as that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing that,
Interesting.
like those letters or anything like that. It was always just, oh, this food was from such and such brother, and he's making the boxes for us. Like, but
Yeah,
how do I
and
know that he didn't take that letter out?
he probably did is the easy answer. Hey, Casey Anthony. Don't know which one, but hello, hello. Well, do you want to hear my hot take?
Yeah,
I
absolutely. I
always
always like
well,
your theories.
well, I always have like different hot takes, but this is one that like the more and more I think about it, I can actually get my skull around it. So, I genuinely think that they're going to start a subscription service for JW streaming stuff where it just becomes this is how you have your donation. Like instead of everyone don't it's such a crazy arrangement where some people if people want to give but just to so it's a equalizing for everyone. I think what we're going to do is for $15 a month you can sign up and that way you can have access to that to all of the stuff. And maybe they can add more DRM stuff to it so apostates can't make fun of them as easily because it's a paid for thing and it's not pub free. I don't know why I'm giving Watchtower the playbook, but then it would make it a lot more difficult to like make videos about JW broadcasting and stuff like that if witnesses essentially had to pay for it.
So do you know? Okay, okay.
So I think that in the next, I'll just give it like 3 years, that you're going to see them basically hunker down and be like, oh no, we don't want to have any of this publicly available because we want to be able to sue anyone that uses it against us. And the easiest way to do that and to make money from it and basically just do what like, well, you're already donating probably $15 a month anyway. So I don't know. Maybe
You
it
think
wouldn't
they'll
work
do?
for like poor countries, and maybe I
Yeah.
haven't fully fleshed that out. But that's like my current hot take that I have cooking in my brain because it solves a lot of their problems, uh, without causing too many others. I don't think.
Do you think they'll do like family subscription plans? Like, let's just say they have like a 10-year-old who has JW.org on their tablet, and he can't donate, so let's do a family plan so that way
Oh
they
yeah,
can
for
log in
sure.
on their.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
absolutely.
wild.
I think it
That
would
would
be
be
really
wild.
cool because
Yeah.
it would really just put them in a tiny little cult like group. So I think if they kind of would shut the doors almost to their religion because they realize no one's joining, and it's all about keeping who's already in.
There. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're trying to watch out if you're listening to this and you're trying to solve the problem of me making fun of you because of the things that you make. I mean, if you haven't thought of this, shame on you for being incredibly bad at your job. But It would
Do you,
solve a lot of problems. Just saying.
do
Just
you think
saying.
we'll get rid of the 1914?
I don't think they would ever get rid of 1914.
Did you ever catch that? I think it
Sometimes
was
I think that they would, but I don't know if they ever would. It's like the one thing that they pretend they got right. You know?
yeah.
It's like,
I,
wow, World War One happened. Whoa! We kind of sort of predicted that. I feel like it's the one thing they pat themselves on the back for getting right when it comes to prophecy. So I think for that reason they wouldn't.
well, did you ever see that brother? I think it was like in Spain. He gave a talk in Spanish, or he like gave new light about 1914. Said like 1914 is not a thing anymore.
Was he just going off like
That's
off
what
script?
I think it was XJW Panda who posted that video. But
Mm.
everyone says in the comments like, yeah, it could be just him going off script. But at the same time, it's an old teaching that comes from Zion's Watchtower, not the
Mm.
Watchtower, what they are now. And
Huh.
they don't really take anything that Charles Taze Russell says, seriously, because they keep changing all of that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I think they could potentially get rid of it without too much consequence. But I feel like it's the one thing that they can sort of point to that they kind of got right. So, yeah,
Yeah.
anyway. What is, here's a question for you. What is something that, as you are observing in the ex-Jehovah's Witness sphere,
Mm-hmm.
the yapping about different stuff, what's something that you think should be talked about more or not talked about enough?
Or what should be done more in the XJW community?
Yeah, it's freestyle.
Yeah. What I think should be done more is confronting your family, recording it, confronting your elders, recording it. Safely. Don't be harsh about it or anything like that. But I think that should be done more because I think now we're able to formulate the questions and put out there like they can't really answer this. We should all be pushing for this. The great rise, of apostasy, so to say. We should be pushing for that because we have all our ducks in a row now. We have the information that proves this organization isn't telling the truth. What
Mm-hmm.
what more do we need? What more can we do other than just to confront? That that that's my biggest take. What the XJW community should do is just keep confronting and not antagonizing. I'm
Yeah.
an antagonizer. I will admit that. I like to press buttons. I'm like, hey, you didn't get back to me. Huh? You scared? You scared? You scared? No. But do it respectfully. Don't be like me. I still have a lot of learning to do on trying to handle my own journey. But I
Yeah.
think that's what the XJW community should do.
I can see what you're saying there for sure. I think being a little bit more vocal with people's family and standing up and not just allowing yourself to be treated like a child and not allowing yourself to be treated as less than is very important to building your new self identity. And I think if anytime you have an interaction with an elder or family member, you kind of turtle and you act like a little humble sheep. Oh, I'm just weak. I don't want to upset anyone. I don't think that that's good for you personally. I think it's important to be able to say something with your chest, mean what you say, and say what you mean, because that is going to be very important for your development going forward. So I definitely hear what you're saying. Allura Mermaid has made a very good point. 101 here, but only 50 likes. Kinda cringe, not gonna lie. With that being said, we are encroaching upon. We've been alive for 1 hour and 20 minutes. So we are going to open up questions to the Chatterooski. Hold on, I have a transition, I think, for this. Boom. But is the chat box not working? I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
it
if
came up.
the chat box isn't working on the screen though.
Oh no.
Hold on, people. Don't worry. We are an expert at this. Bruh moment. Wait, what? Can't believe I'm watching this. Oh, this is just fake. Okay, boom. I think it's working now. So, if anyone has any questions for myself, if anyone has any questions for the most chilling of chilling man himself, now is your time. Desiree Crawford, hearts back to you. Thank you for spreading the love. We appreciate
JBB,
that.
I'm reading your comment right now.
Read it out loud. Just fire away.
Because my mom once recorded a conversation and they found out and got so pissed and they decided to remove that elder, and she had the phone call with like a couple weeks later. That's good.
So they removed an elder after he embarrassed himself by not being able to answer people's questions? That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I respect that.
That's a good one.
I do have some elder recordings sitting on my computer. Just sitting there.
Yeah, you ever plan on opening up the floodgates with those recordings?
I don't know. I think about it. I
Honestly think it would be interesting, man. I'm not gonna lie. That would be really interesting because the past conversations that have been recorded with the XJW community, I mean, I think I found one good one where a brother was bringing up questions about Charles Taze Russell and how he came up with 1914 and the book Thy Kingdom Come from the Great Pyramids and stuff like that. He like scolded those elders, and those elders like,
Mhm.
yeah, we're gonna get back to you. That was an old video, probably like 10-15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't fare well against Wally. I'll put it that way. They didn't.
Yeah, see, we need stuff. We need stuff like that. The community needs stuff like that.
They didn't come out looking great. Have either of you had encounters with autism in JWs or anyone in chat? Yes. On varying degrees of severity. I'm going to assume you're talking about maybe degrees that make it more perceptible than in others. But yeah, I had a little friend of mine who was autistic, and everyone like laughed at him and made fun of him and didn't help him. But I kind of took him under my wing, and I helped him get a job at IKEA, even though everyone was telling him he couldn't get a job and this, that, and the third. So yeah, I think people's experience with any mental differences is going to be generally decided on how that experience is going to go based on who's in their congregation. You're going to get some people that will, help, and you'll get some people that'll marginalize. But I think that is part of the Jehovah's Witness experience, is depending on the congregation and who's in it, you can have a completely different outcome. At least that was how it went for me.
Someone publish all the elder recordings, please.
I'll do whatever I want. Don't tell me what to do. Let's talk about translations. How is it possible to completely change the meaning of "sorry I was cut off"? How is it possible to change the meaning of "sorry I was cut off"? Well, see, sometimes when no, I won't make that joke, but it would have been pretty funny. I was gonna. I think you were not talking about. You have to finish your message.
Oh man, I remember when talking with my father-in-law, because he's in the Spanish congregation, and the watchtower that says that they're not inspired, it translates it into like revelations, like they don't get visions. So when I'm like, but it says they're not inspired nor unfathomable, like that doesn't translate into they get visions. That conversation was like so hard to have, because like the watchtower put it in a way like, oh, they're getting visions in their head. I'm like, but that's not what it talks about in English.
Yeah. It really proves that it's an American religion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I had the same encounter because when I got married, my wife was Dutch, and she would talk about the differences between the Dutch translation and the English one. So anyway, okay, how is it possible to completely change the meaning of things compared to other Bibles? Do you want to tackle that one, or?
I mean, the what I always found fascinating is what they were able to include in other Bibles, not so much the translation. I never really looked into the comparison, but I've always found just interesting the things that they would include and what they would keep out when it does come to translations.
Yeah, if you're looking for one of the easiest things to point to if you're talking to a Jehovah's Witness, just go to the accounts of Pharaoh and how the verses in every other translation basically read that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And in the New World Translation, they add the word allowed his heart to be hardened. And it is a very obvious doctrinal change that they made to the Bible ex post facto. So they come up with a doctrine. They say God wouldn't X, Y, and Z, and then they just adjust their Bible and change it accordingly. So if you want one that's easy to remember, because like everyone knows the account of Pharaoh, super easy. Exodus, super duper easy. John 1:1. That one is harder because Jehovah's Witnesses have heard that for their entire lives. And they're expecting that. They're more ready for that. You might get someone that's in, well, the Signatic Coptic version of the Gnostic Gospel, blah, 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 actually has it translated. You can really get into the weeds with John 1:1 with witnesses, I've found out. But if you want one that they're not ready for and that never really comes up, but it is very damning, give Pharaoh, and whether or not God hardened his heart or had his heart hardened a word.
I like even talking to them about Matthew 17:21, and there's like a dash there.
Mm-hmm.
And then just going over like, well, why do the other Bibles include it and some don't? Well, interpretation.
It's opinion. It is opinion.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Hey, well, I have family in West Seattle and Newcastle congregations about 15 years ago. Were you anywhere near those congregations? 15 years ago? There's probably a 80% chance I know who they are, and a probably 100% chance they know who I am.
I like what Facts on JW. The New World Translation is very inaccurate. Look at any other version. I have read them, and they insert Jehovah when speaking is Jesus many times. Even like the fact that if you just type into ChatGPT, what are the worst top 5 translated Bibles? The New World Translation is number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
So the thing is, I felt like the 1984 edition wasn't that bad as I really dug in and was like doing biblical stuff. It's just the things that it did get wrong were really doctrinally motivated. But as a translation overall, it wasn't like the worst. That was like my understanding of it. But
and I could be wrong. I think MJ posted something about like some of the translations of the Bible came from some Satanists.
I have no idea
John
about any of that.
1:1.
Okay, that would be news to me. I'll have to talk to him and find out.
Yeah,
But
it could be again, Chad. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's one of his latest videos, but I thought that was pretty interesting. That some of their old publication they would reference this Satanist.
Interesting. Fred Franz only had 2 years of formal Greek education, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that ain't gonna get the job done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. People have been studying the Bible for hundreds of years, and a couple of years ain't going to do it. The governing body pulled back the curtain when they explained how they just sit and BS random ideas they get. Yeah, that's pretty much how New Light comes about, if I'm completely honest with you. I think when you see the likes of Stephen Lett, and you're like, wow, this is the guy that's sitting around? Huh. Oh, everyone seems to know. You mean Johannes Gerber?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
A known occultist wrote a Bible that the New World Translation borrows from. I'll have to watch that video from XJWMJ. If you guys don't know, go on XJWMJ. Apparently he has a new video talking about Johannes Gerber and an
Yeah.
occultist. That sounds actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. And then all of a sudden, when they found out like his background, they just started taking away the publications, erasing his name and stuff like that.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. That's like how they have, there was a woman that has books published by Watchtower and Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania before 1917. They don't really want you to know about that now, do they? Because whenever they're talking about how, well, no woman would ever be used to dispense spiritual food.
There you go.
Yep.
At
That's
firsthand. Yeah, and that also makes me wonder too if they would ever make that change, having women on the governing body.
on the governing body. I mean, you got to start with elders, right?
Yeah, I mean, but you have them in Bethel in high positions already, making stuff with like publication work. So why not put them on the board?
You think that there are women in high positions at Bethel?
Well, just meaning like they have positions to make translation into the like the publication work that they put out. You know,
I
if
think they
those women.
really stress that is just data entry work.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I
I can
I
see
mean
it.
I've never heard of that. I don't think that there are women that are making any type of decision. They won't let them. They'll barely let them hold a microphone or just the sound equipment. Why are they
So
going to
like,
be
well,
decision
what I
makers? I
mean is
guess.
like you don't think that there's sisters in Bethel that have like have a some type of title to make changes to the printing work, like when in regards to like translations and stuff.
I do not.
Oh, okay.
I do not think that is true. That would not be an organization I'm familiar with. If it is, I could be wrong. But yeah, no, I find that hard to believe. I mean, maybe like a translation work to a very like obscure language that not very many people speak. I could get my head around that maybe
Okay.
with helping with
I respect it.
translation work. But I think any type of decision will always will have to be filtered through a penis bearing human.
Yeah.
Just because that is the most awkward way to say it. So that's what I did. My parents' rural congregation is allowing sisters to work the sound in the back because there aren't enough men available. Yeah. That'll happen.
They make women do all the dirty work.
Yeah, you can go and mop. You can go and clean. Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for joining me
Yeah, no
for
problem, man. Thank you for
another.
having me on.
Hold on, you gotta plug. Wait, we gotta do the adjustment. So I gotta make myself all tiny. Yep. And make you not so tiny. Would you like to plug? I don't know why everything got all cattywampus. We're just gonna go with this layout. What you got going on, what you are doing, where people can find you. There are links in the description, so you can check them out there. And if there's anything, just send it to me. But I'm going to shut up. Do your thing.
Yeah, so you guys can find me on Instagram, photos by Jesse, photos with a Z by Jesse. What I have coming up, I'm doing concerts on my Instagram. So I'm going to be taking a bunch of photos of all the concerts that I'm going to be going to. And my stories on my Instagram, you can get a behind the scenes of all my edits that I do for upcoming videos. In the next coming weeks, my wife is going to take over one episode, and she's going to be interviewing her maid of honor that was in the Jehovah's Witness community, and now that she's out, they're able to come and have that bond again, and now they want to talk about it. The only difference with that is it's going to be in Spanish, so it won't be in English. Hopefully, YouTube allows the translation to come up and you can see what they're talking about. But yeah, that's what I have coming up, and hopefully in the near future I have more conversations that I'm able to record, and hopefully that helps out many people that are trying to wake up.
Very cool. Very cool. We look forward to it. We, well, I mean, I can't speak for anyone else. I look forward to it. I like interviews. I like when people get involved with, as a couple. I think that's super cute and adorable. So, tag team effort. I think there are far too few women in the XJW community. Oh, look. Well, look, I got to make myself small again. Hold on. Whoop. Uh-oh. I think I might have that stupid glitch. No, we're good.
Made her
We're
get
good.
up out
Okay.
of her seat to come here.
Yeah. Anyway.
Get too camera shy.
Say hello. Say hello to all the fine
guys.
people of YouTube.
Hi.
So yeah, she'll be interviewing one of her close friends and talking about how she woke up and left and how they were
Cool.
able to reconcile. I can't even say.
Reunite. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe she should have the channel. You can't even speak
there you
words
go,
right.
There you go. I
What
can't
the
talk.
heck?
There, take it.
Good stuff. Well, thank you to you both, and let me know when you drop those videos and I can post them on my community tab as well, so maybe a couple more people can get a chance to give it a watch, give it a look.
I appreciate that, and appreciate what you do again for the community,
God.
and thanks for having a small channel like mine on, and hopefully we just continue to grow all the way around.
That is my hope. That is the dream. So thank you, and we'll catch us.
Yeah, and hopefully you have much success on getting your subscription at the 45,000. Is it 40,000 or 45?
It started at 40, now it's 45. Maybe we'll go for 50. Who knows? Sometimes I get a little wacky. We'll see what happens. But
I hope
you know,
get that goal, man. And thank you again for so much.
Appreciate you. We'll catch you guys later.
Later.
Hello, people of the chat. Hello. Hold on, we gotta click the button. Bomb. It's not playing music. Why is the music not working? Oh, there it is. Well, I don't like this song. Ew. Hold on, Hello. Wait. This one's annoying me already. Why are we... Okay. Man. This isn't going well. What was the one we used before? I can't even remember. Maybe this will be good. How did you guys feel about this? This here stream. Hi, hello. Much love to you, Casey. Thank you, Piccola. Thank you. Good interview. That's what we like to hear. That's that good energy. Gonna have to just pull the plug out of the wall. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I just can't seem to get my stuff together, but you know, I think we got it. Can't hear the music. Well, that's just terrible news. I can hear it. Yeah, I know. I haven't actually done any work because I missed a couple of weeks with streaming. I had a lot going on. 400,000 different things, so it was a bit tough. Thank you, Chillin. I appreciate you. Hopefully you can come on again. Yeah, I'll talk to you later for sure. I would like your setup, Wally. Oh, well, thank you. We make little tiny changes. First ever YouTube stream I've ever joined. Okay, well, this is what one YouTube stream looks like, at least here on the JW Thoughts channel. I hope that your break was good, Alpha. I hope it went well for you. Yeah, I thought we had a good discussion. I thought the discussion was good. Some interesting topics. You hear music now, but it's very faint. I can't exactly remember maybe this was the volume we had it at. I came late. I didn't like his background and shirt. All right. Anything specifically about this? Is this like we're looking for good feedback here, other than occultic? I mean, some people are occultic. I think that's fine. I mean, you don't have to like it, but, you know, he can still do his thing, right? It's not Zeppelin, but it's pleasant to listen to. Yeah, I just clicked a button, so hopefully it's not too bad. I thought his shirt was just Nirvana. Like, I don't think that Nirvana is associated with the occult, as far as I'm aware. Why have that up then? Yeah, so Alpha, she's an occult, a fellow occult there, so I don't know. Remember the old green Bible with the dinosaur in the cover page? You are actually joking. There is a Jehovah's Witness Bible that has a dinosaur in the cover page? How have I never heard that once ever in my life? Is that real? Okay. Hold on. What is it called? MK said yes? What? I need to see this. What is it called? Hey, Dooley. I have a couple. You have a couple of those Bibles. I've never seen this. I need to know what this. Where can I find this? It blew my mind when I came across you interviewing Justin Ford, since I used to know him. Oh, cool. Even as a kid, my husband remembers how it didn't make sense. Okay, maybe Avoid JW has that old Bible, and I can just find it like that. I would have made fun of this by now. Surely. The Bible online. Okay, I'm gonna find this green Bible. Wait, I need to... It's the Green New World Translation. I'm looking for it. What edition? The 1960... Okay, let's just do this one. Downloading a PDF of it now. Better find Jesus. Why are you being antagonistic? Okay. You're coming in with some weird energy, Jakor. I'm gonna be honest with you. You need to relax yourself. Okay. Wait, what? Hold on, I'm trying to put this on screen. I guess I'll just put it here for now. There is a JW Bible with a dinosaur on it. That's actually really cool. So how is this supposed to work? How far back does your family go as JWs? I think we go all the way back to man, like the early days. I don't know if it's Bible students, but it's like at 4th generation, 5th generation, I guess, if you're including some of those. You remember that now that you see it again. Yeah, that's wild. I can't quite, like, why did they add a dinosaur onto the Bible? I didn't block Joker. I just put him in a timeout because I feel like maybe just don't come in here and tell people that their shirts are stupid and that they need to find Jesus. That's kind of annoying. Listen to the music. Feel the vibes. We're low key right now. This is after hours. We're not looking for hostility. We actually didn't have any JW show up in chat. How sad was that? Franz must have been smoking something because it's such a problem for them. Like dinosaurs. I guess maybe I'll have to look into it. What is the official doctrine for witnesses? Do they think that dinosaurs all died in the flood? Is that the Is that the official word on it? Oh, you're welcome. Hey, at least I got the guy from Ethiopia. At least he's the black guy, so that's pretty cool. That's actually hilarious. That's awesome. I never have heard anything strange about dinos. Just figured they drowned in oil. Nah, you're good. You're good, Alar. Huh. Well, they made a lot of these bad boys. That's inspired me. We should check into the old kids book about the creation of... Piccola, you all have like... I think maybe what happens to you is you're just accidentally hitting that enter button. That happens. The same thing happens to me in YouTube live streams. I'll be typing and I'll accidentally hit the enter. Like, it seriously happens to me all the time. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one. I think there were dinosaurs in there. In the... Was there dinosaurs in the Bible story book? No, don't apologize. I have the exact same. Oh, you're at a birthday party. Fun. Go enjoy your birthday party. We're just goofing. What's the Bible? What's the official name of the Bible story book? My Book of Bible Stories. That's the one. The old 1978 edition? I'm assuming that's the one we want. Is there dinosaurs in the My Book of Bible Stories? Like in these old pictures? Is that where we're... Good question. The send button is way too close to delete. I don't remember anything. Yeah, I don't specifically remember any dinosaurs in here, but I'm looking now. We got kangaroo, horse, squirrel, swan, sheep, peacock, elephant, lion, turtle. I don't see any dinosaurs. We got an otter. We got a bear. We got a giraffe. Probably in the Noah story. Oh, is it in the Noah story? Oh, well, I guess if that's canon for witnesses, then... Yeah, I gotta go past some of these pictures, because I'm not sure if... Okay, you do have, like, the old mastodon, whatever it's called. And there's some, like, lizardy dudes. Are these dinosaurs? Are these officially dinosaurs? Like, that's like a cobra-looking thing? I don't... Pretty sure there's mammoths. Yeah, we got mammoths there. I don't see any dinosaurs, though. What's this guy in the back? Is this... No, I think that's a dude. Maybe a... pterosaur? I'm not very good with my dinosaurs. Maybe it's in another book? Yeah, maybe it's in a different book then. I don't know. I like this guy. He's like, curses! Why is this damn tree like one branch? This actually makes no sense. You might be behind. We are looking at the Noah's Flood thing. Yeah, I don't... Is there more to it? I think that's the only thing. That's the cropped pic? That's the cropped pic. Is there a non? High Road, do you know where I would find the uncropped pic? There was a full screen one with a dino head poking out just left of the guy swimming. Really? Okay, now we're getting into some lore here. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, you found one on Google? Okay, let me look. Just on images? Maybe just type in Jehovah's Witnesses book. Is this real? That's from Reddit. Image originally appeared. This is from Reddit, so take that for what you will. Hey, Anthony, how's it going, man? Is this photoshopped or is this real? Do we believe Reddit? Yeah, I know the woolly mammoths went extinct super long ago. Oh. I have questions here. Like, this guy's head does not look real. No, that's it. Remember from my childhood. You do remember it. This isn't some, like, Mandela effect thing. I feel like I would have remembered seeing this. Is this a Berenstein or Berenstein Bears situation we have going in here, where we're going to have half of chat that's going to say, oh no, I remember. That was always in it. And the other half of chat that's going to be like, no, that's not real. That's photoshopped. I think we actually have found a real conspiracy. I'm Chilling just said that he thinks it's real, but he also believes in conspiracies, so. I don't know. I guess they could have, like, changed this. Let me see if there's other, I would have definitely remembered that. I don't remember a dino in that picture. This is real. You are right. No, yeah, we're actually going to have a Berenstein Bears moment. This is crazy. We've found the JW version of Berenstein Bears. Guys, we did it. We made it. We actually made it. I have compiled every Watchtower reference I can find related to this topic. Someone hasn't... My book of Bible stories was yellow with red lettering. Yeah, that's the one. No way there was a dinosaur was there before. I don't remember that. JW Mandela. Oh my lord, we actually have. We've actually found it, guys. What's where the dino in the picture is now? I thought I just downloaded it, but maybe it was the old book that was called Evolution versus Creation? It could be. Yeah, we just looked at the dino in the Green Bible. I'm so fascinated by... So this person compiled everything. Do they have pictures? Let me see if there's pictures here. I think it was a blue book. They used it in several publications, High Road. It was big artwork at Bethel. See, when I saw that, I halfway remember maybe seeing something visiting Bethel where that was. So that's making me wonder if this is actually real. There's no other pictures. Someone said that they compiled everything that Watchtower has on it. This is the photo drum of creation. I imagine that there's dinosaurs in that bad boy. Where is that picture from? It's from someone claiming that this was in a uncropped version. Image originally appeared in My Book of Bible Stories 1978 without the dinosaur. It was altered for the brochure Enjoy Life on Earth Forever. It was altered for the brochure. Wait. Okay, wait, we might be cooking. Enjoy Life on Earth Forever. Ah. Hey, time. Will pass. I can't believe I kept messing up your name. That was so embarrassing. Okay, let's take a peek, see at this. Enjoy Life on Earth Forever, the 1982 version. Yeah, we just looked at the picture of the Komodo, the one that has the Komodo dragon. So apparently this was, that same picture is meant to be in this. So this is going to answer it. This was our definitive research. We are about to answer the question. God, okay, here we go. Here we go. You guys ready? Is it going to be here or not? Who are all the people that said they don't remember that? It's not real. I was one of them. I'm a bozo too. Get ready to be bozoed. Because all of us that said that this was not real are about to eat our humble pie, but we'll eat it together. Oh my God, it's real. Holy moly, this is actually real. This is a real picture. Guys, this is real. Oh my Lord. I don't think I've ever... For whatever reason, this was blocked from my brain. Holy crap. Wow. Okay. The conspiracy theorists have this round. Y'all win. Y'all win. Yeah, vindication. Y'all. Yeah, I can't trust myself. I can't trust myself. This guy right here looks so photoshopped. Is the dino in the water? I don't know. I think he looks hungry though. Went on the cat on the log. Yeah. No more raisins on the ants on a log. This is the cat on a log. That was about the dumbest joke I've ever made in my life. I'm ending stream because I just made that joke. Holy. Why do you guys watch me? I just tried to make a joke about cats on a log like ants on a log. You guys need to find a better person to watch on YouTube. That was embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. One of those books we studied to death. And the music is perfect. We should just turn this up. Oh boy. Oh boy. I know I have the blues. You guys have the blues. Holy moly. Yeah, that is crazy. I genuinely did not believe that was real. But there you go. Bro, that image terrified me as a child, the woman crying. Yeah, I know. I guess I won't turn on ads for this live stream because I'm pretty certain that YouTube won't like it. We won't do that. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys. We have reached the 2-hour mark, so I am going to go and feed myself some food. I'm going to sustain my muscles. I had a big workout. I did supersets of pull-ups with like cross-body cable pulls, lat pull-downs. It was intense. It was a good workout. And I need to eat a vast quantity of food. So with all of that, thank you. Supersets are the best. They are just something else, though. Like, I do not get sore like that unless I hit those. Yeah, anyway. Or doing drop sets. Drop sets also just, ugh. Stay another 30 minutes and Grubhub? I don't believe in Grubhub. I basically cook all of my food myself. So thank you, M&K. Thank you, Casey Anthony. Thank you, Shroud. Thank you, Born JW. Thanks, Macola. Thanks, BBQ. Thanks, Jane Spitfire. I didn't see you earlier. Thank you, High Road, for helping us find the Berenstein Bears of JW land. We appreciate you. Gigabuster, thank you. Good night, everyone. Chilling, thank you for coming on. Again, if you have any other links you want to share with me, just send them my way and I'll add them to this video. Thank you. Alpha, stay safe. Bye. I'll see you guys later. I'm out.